Alright, also in this video we're going to be doing a deer stew slash beef and vegetable soup. I did mine on fireplace in a Dutch oven, but you can also do the same thing in like a crock pot, or really even in the oven if you keep it down like 250, 300 degrees. The way I did it, I didn't have any, like, it took me like 8 hours to cook, and all I did was went by the temperature, the thermometer that's on the stove pipe. It was just in the burn zone, so anywhere from like 500 to 700 degrees um, in like the pipe. No, it's not going to be that hot in there. It's just hot enough to simmer it and keep it at like a simmer for like 6 or 8 hours. But it came out great. That's probably the most tenderest piece of meat I have ever eaten. But let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to be honest with you right up front. The first 8 minutes of this is going to be kind of slow because it's just going to be me dicing and cutting onions and carrots and potatoes. So if you want to get straight to the meat portion, skip to like 8 minutes in the video. But anyways, on from here. I'm going to use 2 onions. The first one I'm just going to dice up. I'll put this in at the very start. The other ones I'm going to leave kind of in bigger slices and put them in only in the last 2 hours, because if you put them in at the very beginning, they're going to cook down to nothing. They're basically just going to cook down into a gelatinous nothing. And I like to keep them in there for texture and stuff. So this and the carrots and the baby yellow gold tomatoes or whatever they are, or potatoes. Sorry, the baby. I think they're Yukon Gold baby potatoes. Only put them in the last 2 or 3 hours because they'll cook down in the mush. But right here I'm just these are Vidalia onions. I'm just pulling out like the cores. I hate biting into onions and getting that hard piece of green stuff. I hate that. But yeah, this is I want to say the second or third time I've ever cooked on the wood stove. I have like boiled water and stuff on it before, like when the power was out, and like get my chickens water buckets unfrozen and everything. So I have cooked on it before, but it came out great this time. With the carrots, some of them I chop up, but most of them I leave whole. I think I do half and half, but yeah, like back in the day, the old Indian ladies, I think they were called squabs or squibs. Every morning they used to put a pot on the fire, throw a little bit of water in it, and everybody would come by from the night before and throw like their bison fat or any meat that they had left over from the night before in it, and just boil it all day and eat it throughout the day, and for dinner the next couple of nights, whatever they had left over, that's how they would eat it. But I don't know, this stuff, the deer meat especially, came out. I was surprised because it basically was melting in your mouth. And I actually cooked this I want to say about 2 months ago, and I just got around to making the video, so I don't know. This is the first year I went deer hunting in probably 15 years, and I killed 2 deer. I killed a 7-point buck on November 15th, I think, and I killed a 9-point on October 25th. Yeah, there they are, the baby gold Yukons or whatever they are. These I'm only halving. I just halve them. The real big ones, like I think there you see about 4 that are actually really big. I quarter them, but the rest of them I halve.
Yeah, the day that we did this, it was snowing like hell, and this is the night before I was doing all the prep work, cutting up like the onions and everything. You could put mushrooms in this too, but I am not a mushroom guy. I can't stand them. But the next day it was snowing like hell, and me and my brother went hunting behind our house, and we tried doing a drive, but if you know anything about hunting deer, you know, especially when it's windy or raining or any kind of inclement weather, they do not want to get up and move for anything. And we did a pretty good drive. I know there's tons of deer back there, but only 2 of them got up, but they were running horizontal to me, and they were about 150 yards away, and I was with my crossbow, and I'm confident with that. Anything within 75, 80 yards, as long as they're standing still, I can hit it. But they weren't standing still; they were running like a bat out of hell. But yeah, I'm almost done with the potatoes here, and in a second we'll get to the good part. So, I believe this was a I want to say a top round and an end of eye round off of I want to say it's off the 9-pointer that I killed on October 25th, but thinking back now, looking at the meat, I can tell why it was so tender, because just looking at it here, it looks tender. Like, it looks like it's gonna taste good looking at it now. And I grew up eating deer meat, but my mom, she hated it, and now I know why, because my old man, he would always just keep like all the fat on it, and well, not all the fat, but he wouldn't cut like the silver skin off or any of like the fat I'm trimming off of it here. He would always keep that on, and my mom always hated it. And she actually ate this for the first time. Probably the first time she had eaten deer meat in 25 or 30 years, and she actually loved it. It literally just melted in your mouth. It was like putting like a Hershey kiss in your mouth and sucking on it, and it just straight melted. You want to keep the pieces like, I don't know, you don't want them too big to where you're going to have to cut them because it's a soup, but you don't want them so small that in 8 hours they're going to cook down into absolutely nothing. So anything over an inch and under 3 inches. Now this is the top round. I think the other piece was an eye round, if I'm not mistaken. If you do know what the other piece was, let me know, but I'm almost positive this was the top round. God, just looking at it right now is making me hungry. Yeah, you can eat. I don't know. Let me know if you can tell by looking at it that it was going to be as tender as it turned out to be, because watching it right now, it looks like it's going to be tender, but it might just be me. Yeah. It is some beautiful meat, though. I will say that. I'm just going to slice it in half, look it over, make sure there's nothing on it. And the rest of that stuff there, that little pile there, I just feed to my dogs. Don't gotta cook it, just feed it to them raw. Some of it though, you would wanna cut down into more manageable pieces. For some reason with my dogs, I always find that if I give them a big piece of raw meat, they don't like it. But if I give them a bunch of little pieces, they love it. And I don't know if it's just because they're not used to the texture of it, like when it's in a big piece or what, but I give them a big chunk, they don't mess with it. They'll just spit it out and leave it. They'll guard it and try to bite you if you try to take it, but You give them little pieces, they gobble it right up. But in a second, things are going to go pretty quick because it's kind of hard cooking and filming yourself cook at the same time. So I had somebody holding the camera for me here, but the next day I started early in the morning and they weren't up yet, so I was holding the camera and doing everything else. So once I get the rest of this meat cut up, things are going to go pretty fast. Yeah, this is the first time I have gone hunting. This year is probably the first time in 15 years, and I killed 2. But anyways, starting off in the Dutch oven, just dice up some bacon, throw that in there, let it go like 10 minutes. Make sure you get your pan hot, let it cook down a little bit. While this is going on, you want to boil. I used a Lipton's onion soup packet. I think it's like 2 cups of water and the Lipton soup mix. The deer meat, I just put it in the Dutch oven, let it cook for 5 minutes, put the onions in with it, let it cook for 5 minutes, and then stirred it up and let it cook for like 5 or 10 more minutes. And then right there, that's the pot with the boiling water. You never want to add cold water into something you're starting to cook, so make sure you bring it to a boil. And I did put a beef bouillon cube in there. I think I might have put 2 in it actually, but yeah, you just dump it in, let it cook for 6 hours, and then after that, after 6 hours, I added in the carrots and the potatoes. Like I said, you can put green peppers, you can put mushrooms. I'm not a mushroom guy, so I mean, if they're trippy mushrooms, I'm a mushroom guy, but I'm not a regular mushroom guy. But yeah, you just let it cook 6 hours, and then you add in whatever else you want to put in there, like the carrots or the potatoes, and let it go for 2 or 3 more hours until they get soft. And I'm telling you, this was the best meat I might have ever eaten in my life. It literally melted in my mouth, and it was fun to cook. Like, people don't think it would be fun cooking on a wood stove, but it is. It's actually a good experience. So, and it's nice to know how to do it. It's nice to know that you can do it. But, alright, I'm out. Hope you all enjoy. Later.